Welcome to Spark in the Spiral, a podcast where ADHD meets creativity and we have empowering conversations that celebrate neurodivergence. Whether you're chasing your dreams, building a career, or just trying to survive the dopamine drought, this is your space to laugh, learn, and find the spark in your own spiral. Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 4 of Spark in the Spiral podcast. Today's episode is actually called I Was Embarrassed to Share because who was watching? And this is one of my favorite episodes because it's one of those things that had a silver lining, but at the same time, was the hardest part, but also how I got out of it. And if you are a new follower, welcome to the podcast. And if you have already seen the previous episodes, you know what I'm talking about. So let's do it. Have you ever poured your heart into a reel, the process of it, picking the music, picking the aesthetic, picking what you're going to do, the cuts, the edits, the outfit, tweaked every single little thing to make it perfect. And right then hitting the wave, you literally froze to a point. It's like you thought to yourself, who's even going to see it? I only have 412 followers. Do I look desperate? What am I actually doing? Am I trying to be too much? I used to feel very deeply, I don't know the word right now, but very deeply, there's something about it. To show up online, to show up as myself, to show up every single day, real, not real, good, not good, because I just felt like I didn't have enough innovative ideas that people wanted to see or what was trending. The ideas afterwards came in waves. The ideas came in patterns and came with the flow, but because I didn't think I earned it, because I wasn't that worthy of being visible, that's when things actually block me and change. Especially with ADHD, it hits a lot more differently because when your brain works in spirals, you question absolutely everything. You feel too loud, you feel too low, you feel too messy, too inconsistent, too numb, or too extra, or too not in the actual pattern. You feel like your ideas don't really flow with the right stereotypical way of it flowing. And that it does not deserve your light because you don't have the numbers or proof to show it. But today I want to talk about how I went from the point of my life where I was hiding my voice into how I got to letting my light shine even when I thought that no one was watching. So let me take you to one specific moment. And I remember clearly that was a Thursday evening on 2022. I don't remember the exact month, but I do remember I had just come home from work, skipped lunch. I ignored my phone because I was super hyper focused and on the flow. I spent 6+ hours working on one reel, one content strategy with analytics, with everything. No team, no assistant, just me. And I was slicing transitions to the beat, obsessing over the font, the aesthetics, the vibes, the method, the pattern. Literally, was I even in a TED Talk? No. I even changed my outfit 3 times and the shift just for a 0.8 second or kind of less reel or content or TikTok, whatever that was. I felt at that point okay, when I felt I was finally done, I just sat there really, really, really focused with my thumb ready to hit pause, ready to hit submit until I couldn't do it. I remember I watched that video like 20 plus times. Like I zoomed in and out. Like then I was starting to pick like my hair doesn't look okay. My outfit doesn't look okay. I look like this. My expressions are like that. Like I literally replayed like the sound of my voice like over and over again until I imagined like there was like this voice in my head, like imagining like classmates from high school or college. I don't remember right now, and just like rolling at their eyes and just having that voice in my head, like them saying, like, who do you think you are? You didn't do A, B, and C, and now you want to come to do this. Like, cringe. Like, you suck. Over and over and over again. And just like that, I decided to like delete that post. Like that wasn't a one spiral kind of thing. Like that was my routine. Every single time I wanted to post something or every single time I wanted to share something, like I believed that I had to become somebody before I could have a voice or authority to like share something. And I felt like my numbers and like what I've done in life like had to define it. But here's the thing. I also remember after that, one day I did post something. It was like 3 weeks or 4 weeks after that. I did post something and it was not as polished as I would want it to be. Like it was a short reel about like color psychology relating with like jewelry and like um the interpersonal skills of a persona, of how I did not want to pose and how I was scared, but like how I actually did it in relationship to like those topics. And then I remember the next morning, like I got a DM from someone that followed me that I kind of knew, but didn't really know in person. And she was like, this made my day. Like I was also scared to post about certain topics because I'm still building my target. But thank you for sharing this. This changed everything and like this made my day. And I remember holding my phone literally with like both hands. Like I felt like super fragile at that moment. Like I just sat there staring and thinking, and I don't know, like just being still. Like I obviously didn't cry at that time, but something in me really cracked. And that message for me was not just a compliment or a person that appreciates my work, but maybe that was a message that I needed all along. Not validation, just connection, a reminder that someone else saw value in what I almost hid. And it was just when everything shifted. So this is what I realized. So I realized that my ADHD was not the problem. It was never the problem. It was my process, my pattern, my journey. My small following didn't define my worth or my validation, or it was not something that was necessarily making me irrelevant. It was just making it actually more intimate, more personal, more having me learn what works, what doesn't, what do I like, what's my niche, what works. Like, yeah, like, and my voice, like, it was never too much. It was never too loud. It was never too cringe. I just needed to stop asking for permission to be able to actually use it. That's the difference. And after that, I could say that now I get to help a lot of people, specifically creatives in that industry with ADHD, to like stop hiding and start sharing like the messy, the magical, the real, because your voice really matters and like it does not need to be always polished or perfect to be able to be powerful. It just needs to be yours. And I've seen what happens when people finally like give themselves permission to show up how they are, and it shows the real deal. I remember this one time, exactly. I was hosting a couple seminars or a couple meetings in person. I remember that was like the era where I was actually doing it, where I broke down talking about my own media kit, my content tips, basic editing skills for several industries. Like more so like a step by step routine and how I put it together, how to pitch yourself with brands, how to own to build your own value, even if you feel like chaotic in a creative industry or as a business owner with like zero filters and like a crusty camera roll. It was very low key, informative, strategic, but casual and very me. It was not anything fancy. And I remember there was this girl from Puerto Rico. We spoke Spanish too. She was also American. She was very mixed. Like I remember we got along. When I say we got along, like I remember we connected, but I remember she came up a lot to me because she assisted to like 3 of my sessions. And I also remember like she was really quiet at first, really shy, just listening, soaking it in. But afterwards, in those 3 sessions, like she was the one that always stayed behind, asked the questions, network, built a relationship, exchange Instagrams, and applied many things because she would always show the progress and always share with me afterwards, like even years after that thing was done. Like that was like 3 years or 4 years ago, and she still shared 3 years ago, and she still share her progress until today's day. And yeah, we became friends. We followed each other. We kept in touch. And the thing about it is the fact that like I still follow her. Like I always admire every single thing that she's done. I've seen her progression. And here's the thing. A few months go by, almost a year or a year and a half. And I see her everywhere on the media, on the news, on like the For You pages, on like the favorites, and also on my Instagram, like posting consistently. Like I love her content and everything about it. Owning her story, like owning new things that I didn't even know about her, or like she changed the algorithm of her Instagram, and her platforms and her business, while also doing something else. And just like showing up, even if it was messy but magnetic, it was magnetic. Like brands are working with her right now. And I obviously reached out. I was like, oh my God, congrats for hitting this goal of like this amount of followers and like all the things you've done. Like I followed you for a long time, since that day. And how I was just complimenting her on how amazing she was doing and like how much I'm learning from her as well. And just sharing my experience in life of how I had a peak and whatnot and just catching up and whatnot. And she messages me this. Hey, Sonali, thank you for all your messages. This means a lot to me. I remember I used your media kit to pitch my first deal. I never thought I could actually do this. Now I am at 300,000 followers and getting paid to be myself and almost retiring from my previous job. Mainly, you taught me how to be consistent, to utilize social media to monetize while still bringing value and having a balance of educating. And the social media content calendar that you did, and just also how to be spontaneous on the spot. Like you really showed me what was actually possible. Like I honestly started to do this right after your speech. And I did see the progress in that. And listen, I don't take credit for any of it. I don't take credit for any of her success. She did that alone. And I'm not where she is at right now. But one thing I could say is I feel proud because I was the bridge. And that's my silver lining for today. Like the silver lining for me is like the messy road I've walked with ADHD, the shame, the zigzagging, the hiding, the figuring out, the real time. It worked for someone else. It showed me I fit no matter what, and while not trying to be like someone else, but owning who I am out and proud. Which is exactly why I want to talk about lessons, takeaways, things that like I know that resonated and summed up. Let's go over point number 1. You do not need to be consistent to be impactful. You need to be true. Yes, consistency is very important because we have to build habits first before it becomes a lifestyle, and consistency shows discipline. That's absolutely true. However, it doesn't really start with that. We can be impactful and powerful when we are ourselves, because then that leads into building that habit once we feel connected to that. Point number 2, a small audience is not a weakness. It's a conversation. Like, let me give you an example. Like, if you were in college and you're an undergrad and you had like good grades, you had a lot of internships, and like a lot of people are rejecting you because you don't have past experience, but you want to get your first real job experience. How are you going to get it if everyone's just saying you don't have experience? But you're still going to get it because it's law of averages. It's not a weakness. You are building, you are growing, you are educating yourself, you're enhancing yourself, you're adding more into that process. Point number 3 is your spirals aren't a sign of failure. They're signs of care. Yes, a lot of times we have that perception of like overthinkers or like overthinking, and they're doing too much and like this is that and that's that. No, it's a sign that you care, that you value, and that you're passionate and have ambition. Let that sink in and let that be. Don't worry about it. Point number 4, overthinking means that you care deeply. Very similar to like the previous point, but that's not a flaw. That's an actual feature. And when you understand that that's an actual feature, it becomes an add-on to your life and to your process. And you start managing it and working around it. So if you have a post, a voice note, a reel, something that you wrote in your caption, in your notes app, an ADHD brain of yours is sucking you out of it, guess what? Please hear this. You are not too late. You're not too old. You're not too much. You're not too silly. You're not too cringe for wanting to actually be seen. You're brave for even trying. You're courageous for even starting. You're enough, and you don't need to be viral to be valid. You just need to be visible to yourself first, and the rest will play together. So post the thing, say the thing, let people witness your process and journey of becoming. So that's that. And if this episode resonates with you, DM me or tag me. Let's make the perception of messy the new magnetic. Your spark matters. Your spiral is relatable. Your essence is valid. You could be a trendsetter. You could add new ideas to the table because you are enough and you are exactly where you're meant to be and exactly as you are. So yeah, like, share, and follow if this episode is something that you like. See you in the next episode.